morning, everyone. I would like to begin this morning by acknowledging that the University of Manitoba campuses are located on the original lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and on the homeland of the Métis Nation. My name is Sidhant Sharma, or Sid, as most of you know me, and I'm running for the position of Vice President Internal on the Commerce Students Association. To give you a bit of a background about me, I'm a third-year student majoring in finance and international business. I was part of the AdSub exchange program to Israel in 2019, and part of the co-op program, and currently hold the position of Vice President Academic Events on the CSA. But more importantly, I'm a person who came to Canada without knowing a single individual. I knew I wanted to make it out here, and it was by working hard, connecting with other individuals, and by exposing myself to new situations that it took to give me the confidence to stand in front of you all today. Every student that walks in through these doors deserves appreciation. They chose to be here, had the credibility of being accepted, and strive every single day. And I love that thought. But I'm also aware of the challenges and the struggles that students face. The struggles of not fitting in, not knowing what to do, who to talk to, and constantly feeling left out. I've been there, and I've been that person. And I know these might just be words, but believe me when I say that myself, along with every other candidate who will speak after me, intends on changing that. So you never have to feel that way again. The three main platform points that I base my campaign on are impact, nurture, and discover. Impact. The thought behind choosing impact was simple. We come in contact with a lot of individuals that touch our lives on a daily basis. And that is what we should do for as many people as we can. Through the VPI role, I aim to expand on the opportunities available both to incoming and current students. Through the mentorship program, I aim to increase student relations by pairing each mentee with multiple mentors, exposing them to a wider range of experiences and knowledge, as well as establish a collaborative portal that connects everyone together. Through the CSA Conference Funding and Competitions program, I aim to expose ASPER students to a variety of conferences and competitions, experiences that will help individuals develop from a personal standpoint, gain valuable knowledge, establish lifelong connections, and help strengthen ASPER's position on the map. Nurture. It's one thing to try something new, and another to make it a habit. One of my goals as part of the VPI role is to get our students into the habit of constantly enriching themselves and focusing on personal development. The CSA organizes many great events throughout the year that have immense learning and growth opportunities. As VPI, I aim to collaborate with the rest of the executives to ensure that we offer high-quality events to ASPER students, but also focus on gaining feedback through regular mediums and through regular surveys and other mediums. And the concept of nurturing and collaboration can also apply to facilitating stronger inter-stag relations as well. Stags, or student action groups, heavily impact the students' lives at ASPER through their member meetings, wine and cheese events, and speaker series. I truly commend the past VPIs who have strived to increase inter-stag collaboration and plan to build on their legacy by ensuring that all stags feel supported, have access to resources, and feel empowered. As the VPI, I aim to be the liaison between the stags and the CSA, ready to listen and provide assistance when needed. Discover. It takes time to find out who one truly is, but I believe through the numerous events planned by the CSA and the more specific initiatives under the VPI role, such as conferences, mentorship program, taste, that is take a student to eat, and facilitation of stag relations, there's something in my vision for everyone. During my campaign, I encouraged students to scan the QR code found on my posters and share what their thoughts were about the CSA. And that led to my fourth platform point. My fourth platform point is inclusivity. Students showed support for CSA events, but mentioned that at times they did not feel included. On behalf of the CSA, I would like to thank the students for providing their feedback and for setting a major goal for next year. A thought I would like to leave you with is, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. And I would like to be the leader that creates a difference in your lives. My name is Sidhant Sharma, and I'd be humbled to be your next Vice President Internal. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, Sid. I would now like to open the floors to any questions. We do have a mic going around, so if you have any questions, does anyone have any questions? Okay, well, if not, we'll go straight to the anonymous app.
All right, so if you want to ask a question anonymously, go to sli.do and use the code CSA2020. But we do have one question, and that's how do you plan on growing the mentorship program, making it stronger and more valuable to first-year mentees and mentors?
That's a great question, and the mentorship program is definitely something that's of a big essence as part of my platform. I believe Stephanie Kilo as VPI this year has done an incredible job of growing it, but it really depends on what your concept of growing is. My definition of growth would involve ensuring that these students, again, have the relationships, but feel at any point that they have multiple people to go out to. As first-year students, we're constantly struggling on what career decisions to make, what courses to take. Is the case competition going to be stressful? And you have all these pressing questions, and it would be nice to allow and give them the opportunity to connect with multiple people. Through my idea of my mentorship program, I want to pair each mentee with multiple mentors so they feel supported and are able to contact and get in touch with multiple people, hear different experiences. That gives them a lot of experience and true stories to base their decisions on.
Does anyone want to ask a question on the mic? Okay. What else have you committed to in the upcoming year, and how are you going to dedicate your time to the CSA?
That's a great question, and I feel my current year as VP Academic Events on the CSA has helped me prep for that. My year going forward starts off with a summer co-op term, moving into a fall and a winter term, which I would dedicate towards courses. I usually take between 3 to 4 courses each semester, and just from what I've learned from my past year, I had a similar workload. I had a summer co-op term. I even did an exchange in the summer, but I made sure that I was always available to each of my co-chairs, and that is pretty much done by time commitment, sacrificing on a few personal commitments, but knowing that the CSA does create immense value for the students. And the ideal answer to that question would be making sure that my priorities are very clear, and I can handle all of my CSA commitments and make sure I'm giving time for that.
Awesome. Stag relations have been improving over the past few years. How do you plan on increasing these relationships over the next year?
Again, that's a very good question. Stag relations, as you mentioned, have been increasing over the past year. I think there's a difference between creating something new and enhancing the quality of what already exists. And with stag relations, that's what I'd be focused on. I really want to further enhance and build those bonds stronger, whether that's by having more collaborative stag events, whether that's by showing more CSA support for stags and vice versa. But at the end of the day, it comes down to one keyword, that is relationships. And I want to build that CSA and stag relationships even further and deeper.
Awesome. Any questions from the floor, or should we? Okay. What is something that you personally learned from your current position as VPA that you plan on improving upon if you were elected VPI?
Ooh, that makes me think. I would say as VPA or as any executive position, the workload that you have does vary. It goes from 5 to 10 hours to even 20, 30, 40 hours a week, depending upon the event that you're organizing and how close you are to it. And at times, the tasks that you're doing, because you're managing a part-time job, at most times you're managing courses, personal commitments, it does tend to feel like work. But the one thing I've learned, and that's had a major impact on me, is anytime I feel stressed or overwhelmed, I go back to what actually got me involved in the first place, and that was wanting to create value for students, because that was the impact that Asper students and last year's executive team had on me. And I always remind myself that any work I do, even if it's as simple as sending an email to organizing an event, it's creating a lot of value for students. And even if that event helps out one person and it's able to inspire them to try something new or meet another person, I feel that's an event that's been very successful. And I plan on doing the same thing as part of my role in VPI if voted in.
As you were already on the executive team this year, what would you say is a weakness you can feel you can grow on in the next year?
I would definitely say one weakness. Would be getting stuck in the rhythm of things. The CSA, and in my very personal opinion, the CSA has a very great structure. We organize a lot of events on a large and a smaller scale, on both scales. But the one thing would be, because one event has been successful, we tend to believe that's what students want every year. That's what new students want coming in every year. And that's not a wrong approach to have, but I feel we definitely need to ask more students if that was the event that they're looking for. What are the takeaways that they want going home at the end of the night? And is there something different that we can do? And another thing I would like to add is, even though if voted in, my role would be VPI, you're still on the Executive Council, and you have the opportunity to impact every single thing the CSA does, because the Executive Council is a team, and that's what would be a major learning and something I would like to improve on for any event.
Confidentiality is a huge part of the VPI role. How do you plan on being able to separate friendships from confidentiality?
I would always say when it comes to confidentiality in friendships, it's about establishing a fine line right from the word go. Anything that's related to my VPI role or something that's supposed to be kept confidential, I must know absolutely that this is something that's not supposed to leave the boundaries of me and the one individual that's told me, or something that's come to my attention. And if a friend ever is bugging me for it or says something personal along the lines asking for it, then they're not truly a friend. If any person gets in the way of me doing my role and does not understand it, I'd be willing to sacrifice that friendship, because I know the value that I'm creating for students, and that's what my main goal is at the end of the day.
As VPI, you will have to work with the Indigenous rep. How will you incorporate Indigenous matters and reconciliation during your term?
That's a very good question, and I would honestly say that's been something that's been on my mind for the last year. And through my fourth platform point, inclusivity, that's what ASPA students have also told me. So one of my major focuses would be ensuring domestic, international, or Indigenous students, no matter who it is, no matter where they're from, it's about making them feel confident attending any CSA event, and it's about making sure they are very well informed. And when it comes to talking about more specifically about Indigenous cultures, there's multiple Indigenous culture, there's multiple ways we can increase that, whether that's by collaborating with Indigenous groups on campus, whether that's by displaying Indigenous art around the Drake Center, or I would say more often listening to what they want us to do, listening what that student group or what that student body or population wants us to do, and building off of that, giving the students a voice and a platform.
CSA has the reputation of being a clique at times. How do you plan on removing that stigma?
I would say the CSA executive team this year was something that was in our minds, and we've done a good job, or we were doing a job of trying to improve that, whether that's by having more accessible office hours, whether that's by ensuring that one exec is always present in the office to speak to people, whether that's by ensuring that each and every event we go out of our way to find out one first-year student and help them connect. I think a lot of it has to do with connecting students to each other, and once they are able to have a conversation with us, they feel included, because every student at ASPA is a member of the CSA, and I think it's about making them realize that they are, and each student has equal opportunities available to do so.
Do we have any questions from the audience? Okay. You've mentioned inclusivity. Do you have any tangible ideas for the upcoming year on how to get unengaged students engaged in CSA's programming?
I would say a lot of it has to do with students just being informed, but someone reaching out to the students almost on a deeper level. That is more than a TV graphic. Just from my personal experience this year, international communications was part of my role as a VP academic events, and I noticed a stark difference in me sending a text to one of my friends for, let's say, to take part in the international case comp, whereas reaching out to that person or meeting them over a cup of coffee, telling them about the benefits that any event, forgetting case comps for a moment, any event has to offer, and telling them that directly. And I feel that doesn't only apply to international students, but to any student at the ASPA School of Business. We do often booth for most of our events, and it's about having those conversations and facilitating a larger amount of those conversations, and making sure the students realize that there's always someone they can reach out to for help, whether that's by coming to the office, whether that's by sending us an email, and that we truly are there for them 24/7 whenever they need us.